Melody looked at the opening to the slide in front of her. It looked fairly steep going down, but she had always loved slides. And they usually emptied into a pit of balls. She thought for a second, deciding what to do. There isn't any reason I shouldn't be able to have some fun out of all of this, she said to herself. She pushed herself onto the edge of the slide, her short skirt flying up again. She frowned at the offending piece of fabric and backed out of the slide momentarily. Her hands fished around her back, locating the clip holding on the skirt. She opened it, letting the skirt fall to the floor of the tunnel. She kicked it away casually, disregarding the virtually useless garment. Everybody knew she was wearing diapers anyways. There wasn't any reason to try and hide it with something that small. Besides, she thought, this doesn't really bug me for some reason. She sat back down on the slide, the plastic cool against her legs. She pushed off, the diapers slick against the plastic surface. She went around 2 corkscrew corners, gaining speed quickly because of the diapers sliding against the plastic. Her eyes widened slightly as she saw something stretched across the tunnel ahead. Was she going to hit a wall? She spread her legs out as best she could to try and lessen the impact, but was greeted with a different surprise. She felt another diaper pull itself up against her as she slid through it, and looked down to see another thick diaper had been taped onto her. Her momentum had allowed it to snap shut and tape itself closed. She looked up just in time to see several more lined up ahead. Her rudest surprise came when she slammed into a pair of plastic panties packed full of water balloons. The majority of them exploded on contact, slowing her progress slightly, and also filling up her mass of diapers with fresh liquid. The splash of water made her start to pee as well, because of the hypnosis they had undergone. She finally reached the end of the slide, landing with a loud, wet pop into a pit full of something fluffy, soft, and white. She tried standing up, but was pulled over by the dead, wet weight around her waist. She looked around as she continued to wet herself, tears forming in her eyes. She saw that she was trapped at the bottom of a slide she couldn't possibly climb back up, in a screened-in pit full of diapers. She crawled through their heavy mass towards one of the netted walls, looking around for someone to help her. No one was in sight. She slumped back down against the soft collection of diapers, crying softly. They weren't going to get back with all of their items in time. Her sobbing increased at the realization that they would be going to school in diapers all week. She didn't enjoy diapers that much. What were they going to do? Tiffany stood in the center of the room she was in, motionless. She looked at everything lying on the floor around her, and then the outfit she was wearing. The red leotard was starting to get quite uncomfortable, and it was starting to get too small around the waist. Her diapers had gotten a great deal larger since she was dressed this morning. She pulled the leotard off with ease, leaving herself clad in her dirty diapers and a sports bra. She threw the leotard against the clear plastic wall and looked around the room. Spying a stack of clean diapers against the wall, she approached these first. She picked several different kinds of diapers up, turning them over in her hands. Some were relatively thin, others thick enough to mistake as small throw pillows. Upon closer examination, she found that only the extremely thick ones would fit her. She realized for the first time that it didn't really bother her. She laid the diapers out on the floor in front of her, their thickly padded surfaces eagerly awaiting to be taped in place. She fiddled with the pins on the sides of the diapers she was already wearing, successfully opening them. She stripped off the dirty diapers she had been locked in all day and threw them in the hamper against the far wall. She then laid down on the first diaper, smiling at its soft, thick feel. Pulling the front up between her legs, she saw these red "Oops, I crapped my pants" on the front as well. She smiled at the small illustrative sentence and taped the diaper snugly on. She pulled on 3 or 4 more and tried standing up. Her steps were a little shaky at first. These were truly very thick diapers. She waddled awkwardly around the small space, looking at what else there was. She spotted a pair of plastic panties, adorned with pink lace across the back. She giggled to herself and threw them at her feet, stepping into them. She looked around for anything else quickly, and then pulled the panties up. They pulled all her diapers snugly against each other and announced themselves on securely with a telltale locking click. "Now all I need is a shirt," she said. Despite her best efforts, She couldn't locate one. She sat down momentarily, crossing her legs despite the bulk around her waist. Oops. I crapped my pants. She giggled at the voice and looked around the room with a childish grin. Suddenly, the perfect solution presented itself. She saw the most adorable pink and red dress hanging on the wall. She crawled to it on all fours and stood up to take it off the wall. She took the hanger out and pulled the dress over her head. She looked at herself in the mirror that was in the room, seeing a long strip of cloth hanging from her backside. She stood in puzzlement momentarily, and then realized what it was for. She reached between her legs with great effort, and pulled the strip forward. She pulled up the dress's short skirt, finding a tying and locking mechanism. She threaded it through, and clicked the locking clamp shut. She tugged on it to test its security, and nodded at herself in the mirror. She was the perfect little girl.